Homework time! Yes, here we go with another happy homework time. Well, let's start off the right way by jotting our name down at the top of the paper along with today's date. I'll write my name, you write yours, and go ahead and write today's date. I'll write today, you write the actual date, where and when you are in this universe of ours. So our instructions here, we're doing division, but now we're doing division with tens, hundreds, and thousands, mainly using place value disks in a different way without the actual place value table, just the disk to represent them, which is exactly our instructions here, to draw a place value disk to represent the following problems, rewrite each in unit form, and solve. Well, let's see what that actually looks like. So 6 divided by 3. And see, so they've done the disk for us on this one. They've taken 6 ones and put them in 3 equal groups of 2. And so we can see the answer is 2 because there are 2 in each group. 6 donuts divided among 3 people is 2 donuts each, right? 2 for you, 2 for you, 2 for you. Everybody's happy. So 6 ones divided into 3 equal groups gives you 3 equal groups of 2 ones. And now it's going to look actually exactly the same for B, C, and D, except we're dealing with, instead of 6 ones, 6 tens, 6 hundreds, and 6 thousands. This is so you make that connection. So when we draw this out, it's going to look the same as above, the disks. You know, each of these is 10, and I'm going to put them into these 6 tens into 3 equal groups. And now in this case, I already know what it looks like. Gotta make them a little bigger so I have room to write the 10. There we go. Oh, that one looks like a heart. Let's see if I can make a little heart. 10 of love. There it is. It's really 10. Okay, anyway. So 60 divided by 3. Well, each of these is 2 tens, aka also known as 20, correct? So if I take 6 tens and divide it into 3 equal groups, each group will have 2 tens. And that's what we're looking for when it says rewrite each in unit form. That's this here, is 2 tens. And the end solve is this part, the 60 divided by 3 equals 20. And believe it or not, this one is going to look exactly the same, except I need to draw my disks a little larger so that I have room for them to write. In fact, I'm going to write 100 first. Okay, now if I didn't know the answer already, which of course we do, I'd say, okay, I'm going to put them into 3 groups. So there's one group. I'm going to draw the other group here. All right, so there's another 100 of the 600s I have. And here's the third group. So there's 3 of the 600s, so I still have 1, 2, 300s left. Oh, I have enough for another round. Okay. See, so I could kind of do it in a handing out the donuts sort of way. 100 for you. This is the mega box of 100 donuts. 10 boxes of 10 is how you can think of that. Okay, so look, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. Same as up here, except they're hundreds. So how many donuts in each group? 200, right? So that is our solution. 600 divided into 3 equal groups is 200 in each group. And so this long blank here means I won't be writing 600, the number 600, but in unit form. So it is 6 hundreds. And this is an important distinction so that you actually understand what you are doing and not just following steps. 6 hundreds put into 3 equal groups divided by 3. Each group will have 2 hundreds. And you see, there's 100, there's 2 hundreds. 2 hundreds. This is going to help you even when we get to decimals and everything. This is going to help you with life. This is going to make you a better looking, more fabulous person. And believe it or not, 6,000 divided by 3, and this is the big connection you're going to make, is that it's the same idea. Is that I have 1,000, and forgive me, I'm going to omit the comma because I have to write these so small, so forgive me. so I have 1,000. I already know. I'm not going to pretend I don't this time. That there will be 2 in each group, right? 1,000, 1,000. I'm going to put a group over here. 1,000, 1,000. And then the third group, 1,000, 1,000. I already know what the answer is because it's the same as this. Look, 2 ones, 2 tens, 2 hundreds, 2 thousands. So 6 thousands divided into 3 equal groups. Each group will have 2,000. Which means that I had 6, what? 6 hot dogs. No, 6 thousands. And I divided them into 3 equal groups. Divided by 3 gave me 2 thousands in each group. You see the connection between these 4 questions? Great. Beauteous. Look at that. And let's move on to number 2, which I think you'll find also interesting and entertaining. And in number 2, you'll notice this looks similar, but with a twist. And take note. So now we're dealing with the number 12. And being a 2-digit number, it's going to just slightly require a different way of thinking about it here. You'll see. So if I'm to draw place value discs to represent each problem, with 12 divided by 4, I'm going to take 12 ones, right? 12 ones, and put them into 4 equal groups. Now you might be thinking, well, that's 110 and 2 ones. Okay, 110 and 2 ones. Put those into 4 equal groups. You're not going to get too far. So you have to take that box of 10 donuts and bust it open and take the 10 donuts out, decompose them, right? So now you have 10 donuts and 2 donuts. You have 12 ones. And that's something we can work with and put it into 4 equal groups. So let's do that. So this is going to be 1 equal group here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see I'm handing out the donuts here, right? Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Donut-rific there. Yes. So how many donuts did each of the 4 people get? See, 12 donuts, right? 12 donuts. 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they each got 3 donuts. That's our solve. Now, rewriting it in unit form means we have 12 ones, 12 donuts, divided into 4 equal groups. There are 3 donuts in each group, 3 ones. And now, just as in the previous one, when we look at 120 divided by 4 equals blank, it's going to work the same way, but here's a different way of thinking about it. Instead of saying 100, 2 tens, we're going to do the same thing we did in A and say, that is 12 tens. We're going to take that mega box of 100 donuts and break it into 10 tens. And then that's something we can work with. So now we have 12 tens. So I'm going to do the same thing and distribute boxes of 10 donuts to the 4 people. There's 10 donuts for you. Here's a box of 10 donuts for you. Remember, I have 12 boxes of 10 donuts. I have 12 tens here. There's a box of 10 donuts for you. A box of 10 donuts for you. Okay, that's 4 boxes of 10 donuts. There's 5 tens, 6 tens, 7 tens, 8 tens, 9 tens, 10 tens, 11 tens, and yes, 12 tens. So I've handed out all 12 tens, all 120 donuts, equally to 4 people. So how many donuts did each person get in numerical form, in standard form? 10, 20, 30. They got 30 each. So that's my solution. 120 divided by 4 is 30. If you put 3, your brain should put the brakes on and say, hold on, that doesn't make sense. So now, what did I start with? I started with 12 boxes of 10 donuts. So, 12 tens. I started with 12 tens. Now I know you're like, whoa, man, it's 120. 120 is 12 tens, is it not? If I handed you 12 $10 bills, count them off here, 12 $10 bills would equal $120. And I put them in 4 equal groups. There are 3 tens in each group. That's unit form, 3 tens. All right, so you see the connection here. 12 ones, 12 tens, divided by 4 equals 3 ones equals 3 tens. 3 ones, 3 tens, 12 ones, 12 tens. So, and I'm covering that because look here at C, 1,200. It doesn't help us much to say we have 1,200s. We need to decompose that 1,000 as 10 hundreds. Then we can actually pass out some donuts. So this is the mega box, 10 boxes of 10 in each mega box. So we have 12 what? 12 hundreds, yes. So I'm going to start passing out mega boxes of donuts, which have 100 in each. So there's 100 donuts for you, 100 for you, 100 for you, and I'm going to do the other one over here, 100 for you. Okay, so now there's 4 hundreds. I have 12 hundreds. So there's 5 hundreds, 6 hundreds, 7 hundreds, 8 hundreds, 9 hundreds, 10 hundreds, 11 hundreds, and 12 hundreds. So 1,200 divided by 4 equals, this is our solution, 100, 200, 300 in each group of 4, right? 300 is our solution. And what did we actually do here in unit form? Well, we started with 1200s, right? So we started with 1200s. And we put those 1200s into 4 equal groups. Divided by 4 equals, well, how many hundreds in each group? There are 3 hundreds. Passing out those mega boxes of donuts. Enough to make the whole family happy. 12 hundreds divided by 4 equals 3 hundreds. Well, in number 3, we're going to get some practice for sure, and then finish out with a couple of word problems as per usual. Let's roll on. Woo, boy, we have some practice here. It's look, it's an area model. We have 4 times 3. We have 12 division examples to do here in both standard form and unit form. So let's jump right in. The first one is done for us completely. So we have 800 divided by 4, which we can also think of as 800s divided into 4 equal groups. There will be 2 hundreds in each group, 200. And so 900 divided by 3. Well, before we solve, and you might be like, the answer's this, the answer's this, the answer's this. Chill, okay? Chill. Chill. Okay. So we have 900s. And now we're just kind of picturing the place value disk in our head. 900s divided into 3 equal groups. How many will you have in each group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 300s in each group. See, so I like doing, as you see here, the unit form first, because I think that helps you see the answer better. So 300s in standard form is 300. This prevents you doing the unit form first, prevents you from making careless errors like just writing 3 or 30 or something else for this, or even 9 or something. This, okay, 900s divided into 3 equal groups is 300s in each. Let's move on. 400 divided by 2, so that's 4 hundreds, 4 hot dogs, divided into 2 equal groups. And I'm saying 4 hot dogs not to be cute, well, kind of, but to show you that whether I'm talking about 4 hot dogs or 400s divided into 2 equal groups, it's the same manner of thinking, that 4 hot dogs into 2 equal groups. 2 hot dogs for you, 2 hot dogs for you. 2 hundreds for you, 2 hundreds for you. So 4 hundreds divided into 2 equal groups means we will have 2 hundreds in each group. And now it's easy to put that into standard form. 2 hundreds is 200. Okay, so 300 divided by 3. 3 hot dogs, 3 hundreds. I know, donuts and hot dogs, I'll tell you, I actually don't eat this way. I just like talking about it because they're silly. Not as silly as corn dogs, though. 3 hundreds divided by 3. Okay, well, I have 3 hot dogs. I'm going to share with 3 people. 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. I've handed all 3. 1 hot dog, 1 hot dog, 1 hot dog. 100, 100, 100. So 3 hundreds divided into 3 equal groups is 100 in each group. 1 hot dog. So 300 divided by 3, 100. And here they've done part of it for us because I want us to think about it in a different way. So instead of saying 2 hundreds divided by 4, which was perfectly valid and useful way of doing this, but here's a different way of thinking about it. Think of 200 as 20 tens divided by 4. Okay, so I have 20 tens. I'm going to hand out to 4 people. So I start handing them out. How many tens will each person get? Well, imagine then in this case we're talking about $10 bills. 10, 20, 30, 40. Well, how many tens do I have? I have 20 tens. Let's do it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. How many do each of you have? Oh, you have 5 tens each. Just as if I said 20 corn dogs divided by 4, each person gets 5 corn dogs. 20 tens divided by 4 is 5 tens. 5 tens, how would I write that in standard form? 200 divided by 4 is 5 tens is 50. And now check to make sure your answer makes sense. Okay, so let's say somebody says, oh, no, this is unfair. Okay, well, let's check to make sure. I started with 200, and the 4 of you got 50 each. 50, 100, 150, 200. Everything's accounted for. It checks out. All right, so 160 divided by 2. Let's think of this again in terms of tens. In fact, we pretty well need to here. So 16 tens, right? 160 is 16 tens. If it were money, I could have 16 $10 bills. And I'm dividing that into 2 groups. 16 tens, 8 tens and 8 tens. Does that make sense? All right. I hope so. Otherwise, I've failed you. Boo-hoo. So 160 divided by 2 is 8 tens, or 80. And you could check that. You got 80, you got 80. Together, that's 160. It checks out. So 400 divided by 5. Let's do this in terms of tens as well. Let's say 40 tens. Isn't it? $400 is 40 $10 bills. Yes. 40 tens divided by 5 equals, well, let's see. I have 5 people and 40 tens. I'm going to start handing them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You got 8 tens each. And 8 tens in standard form is 80. And we can check that quite easily, saying, hey, the 5 of you got 8 tens each. 80, 160, 240, 320, 400. That's what we started with. It checks out. 300 divided by 5. Well, we could say 300s, but that's actually not going to be useful, is it? No, it's not, because I have $300 bills and 5 people. I'm like, well, I can't hand these out. I don't have $500 bills to give everybody one. So I'm going to go to the bank and cash in those $300 bills. Hey, could you give me tens for this so I can actually hand them out to people? Now I have how many tens? Yes, 30 tens. So 30 tens. Now I can hand these out to the 5 people. Divide it by 5. So I have the 30 tens. I start handing them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Ah, you got 6 each. 6 what? 6 tens. Yes, 6 tens. And in standard form, 6 tens is the number 60. And you can check that, because somebody says, wait, it's not fair, you got more than me. Well, okay. It's 5 of you. You got $60 each. 60, 120, 180, 240, 300. It checks out. Beautiful. 1,200 divided by 3. Now we're going to think of 1,200 as 1,200s, which we actually did back in number 1 or 2 there. Divided by 3, well, how many hundreds do they get each? Well, we actually did something very similar already, but let's think about it. I have 3 people, 1,200s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got 400s each. So 1,200s divided by 3 is 400s. In standard form, 400. And check that. Somebody says, no, it's unfair. He got more than me. Okay, 400, 800, 1,200. 1,200 is what I started with. Beautiful. Okay, so now I have 1,600s divided by 4. So 1,600s divided by 4. And you might be thinking, well, Mr. McGrath, what? Okay. Why are you saying 1,600s instead of 1,600? Okay, imagine I have a $1,000 bill and $600 bills. And I have 4 people. How can I start handing that out? I have a $1,000 bill. I have 600s. Well, I could hand out one of the 100, but that's not useful. I still have this $1,000 bill. So I go to the bank and I say, hey, for this $1,000 bill, could you give me 10 hundreds? Now I have 1,600s. Now I can start passing them out. And boy, what a day that would be, huh? So I start handing out my 1,600s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They got 400s each. $400s each, which in standard form, 400s is, of course, 400. And somebody says, no, that's not fair. Wait, watch. 400, 800, 1,200, 1,600. That's what I started with, 1,600. It checks out. So now I have 2,400 divided by 4. I'm going to take those $2,000 bills to the bank and say, hey, could you give me hundreds for these? They sure, here's 20 hundreds with the 400s you already had. I now have 24 hundreds. Those 24 hundreds I can start handing out to the 4 people. Somehow we got off donuts and onto money here, but it's good. Money's almost as good as donuts, isn't it? And money can get you donuts. 24 hundreds divided by 4. So I had these $2,400 bills and 4 people. 100, 200, 300, 400. 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Each of you got $600 bills. And right away, as people often do, somebody says, no, 600s. It's not fair, he got more than me. Well, let's check. 600, 1,200, 1,800, 2,400. That's what we started with. It checks out. So now we have 3,000 divided by 5. And again, if you think about it, if I said, well, it's 3,000, I'm sitting there with $3,000 bills and 5 people. I can't start handing them out, right? I can't do a round for everyone. So I'm going to go to the bank, take those $3,000 bills and say, could you give me hundreds for this? And they say, sure. Here's $3,000 bills instead. That's something I can work with because 30 hundreds is the same as 3,000, right? That's why we did all that place value stuff at the beginning of the year, so this will make sense. Isn't that great? Things have a purpose. So 30 hundreds, $100 bills divided among 5 people. So I start handing them out to the 5 people. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1000, 1500, 2000, 2500, 2500, 3000. Okay, one more time. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 hundreds. So they each got 600s. Yes, $600 bills, which written in standard form, 600s is 600. And somebody invariably will protest and say, no, 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 it's not fair. Well, let's check. You each got 600, the 5 of you. 600, 1200, 1800, 2400, 30 hundreds. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Okay, so it checks out. The 5 of you got 600 each, and that's the 3000, the 3000 we started with. Woo, that was a lot of work, huh? We just have a couple of word problems to round out tonight's homework time. And do not dread that we have 3 word problems to do here, because we just did 12 of these, right? And that took a few minutes. And this is just like doing 3 more, okay? We just have to read first. Read, draw, and write. So a fleet of 5 fire engines carries a total of 20,000 liters of water. If each truck holds the same amount of water, so equal division here, how many liters of water does each truck carry? So a very simple drawing here. I know sometimes students, when I say, okay, let's draw a tape diagram, they go, but I know what to do, and then they do it wrong. All right, so it is quick and easy and eminently useful to draw a simple diagram. So here is all of the water. All the water is 20,000 liters. 20,000. And remember, although we write liters with a lowercase l, the abbreviation is an uppercase L so that it's not confused with the number 1. So 20,000 liters, and we have 5 trucks. So within here, I can draw 4 lines to make 5 reasonably equal partitions. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lines will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fire trucks. And those are equal, and I'm trying to solve for each one of these. So I can call one of them, I'll do it this way, I can call one of them F. So the F, how much each fire truck carries, is the 20,000 liters. I'll just write 20,000. I'll write liters. Liters divided by how many trucks? Divided amongst 5 trucks. So now I can see the math I need to do. So 20,000. Does it help for me to think of that as 2 10,000s? I have 2 10,000s for 5 trucks. That's not useful. But 20,000s, that's useful. So if I think of this as 20,000s, doing this in unit form, I think helps you see what we're doing. Divided amongst 5 fire trucks, how many will they get each? Well, think about it. 20,000s divided amongst 5, and we won't draw the place value disk here, but just think about it. So I have 20,000s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, how many thousands? They got 4,000s each. And if one of the fire trucks, I guess, says, no, 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 you're wrong, man. That's not right. We got 5,000 each. Well, let's check. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 20,000s amongst 5 trucks. It all makes sense. So our F, how much each truck carries, is in standard form, 4,000s is 4,000. And our statement will simply be each truck, to answer the question, how many liters of water does each truck carry? Each truck carries 4,000 liters of water. And that's a tall drink of water. Each truck carries 4,000 liters of water. Told you these are going to be quick and easy. Let's go look at number 5 now. And in number 5, we got two fellas drinking some juice and measuring it carefully, because you can't just get yourself a drink of juice. You need a graduated cylinder to measure the exact juice consumption before you take a drink. So Jamie here drank 4 times as much juice as Brody. We have a comparison going on there, so we know we're going to need separate tapes for them, right? Jamie drank 280 milliliters of juice. How much juice did Brody drink? This is exactly the kind of questions that a lot of students will get wrong, because they'll say, look, there's two numbers, 4 times as much, 280 milliliters, multiply, that gives me my answer. Yep, we see it all the time, but let's think about it. So Jamie, let's draw him out nice and long. This is why we are like, draw it out so you understand what you're doing. He drank a total of 280 milliliters. Now, this is Jamie, and he drank 4 times as much as Brody. So picture, Jamie's got 4 times as much as Brody. 4 times as much as Brody. Who has more? Jamie has 4 times as much as Brody. Brody's is smaller. So multiplying Jamie's here times 4 makes no sense whatsoever to find Brody's. Brody's is smaller. Brody's, in fact, if we draw his, is 1/4, right? So if we divide Jamie into 4 parts, 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, Brody is equal to 1 of them. I'll do a little dotted line there. So I need to take Jamie's 280 milliliters, yes, and divide it by 4 to find out how much Brody drank. So do not fall into the trap of saying like, oh, there's 2 numbers, I'll add them. Stop and think and draw something out so you know what you're doing and why. So if we want to find Brody, he will be the 280 milliliters divided by 4. That one of those 4 parts is the secret to Brody. So we can think of this as, well, to think of it as 200s, 8 tens isn't very useful to divide it by 4, but we can think of it as 28 tens in unit form. And then divide that by 4. And this time, instead of doing the whole passing out thing, just think. 28 divided by 4 is 7, right? Because 7 times 4 is 28. And it's not just 28, though. It's 28 tens. So 28 hot dogs divided by 4 is 7 hot dogs. 28 tens divided by 4 is 7 tens. And what is 7 tens in standard form? That means that 280 divided by 4 is 7 tens, which we write as 70. Yes. So Brody drank how much? Yes, 70 milliliters. Now stop and think. Does that answer make sense? Jamie's is 4 times as much. 280 is 4 times as much as 70. 70, 140, 210, 280. Oh, okay. That checks out. Beautiful. See, I told you we're going to blow right through these and understand what we're doing and learn something fabulous. Let's go round the bend to the last one, number 6. And after donuts, we get on to the second best topic in the world, French fries. Yes. Do we capitalize the F in French fries, though? I don't think so. Normally you'd capitalize French when, anyway. A diner sold $2,400 worth of French fries in June. Nice job, diner. Which was 4 times as much as was sold in May. And this is another one like the last one where we need to think about the comparison, not just say there's two numbers, let's multiply them, let's divide them, let's add them, let's subtract them, but really think about what we're doing. How many dollars worth of French fries were sold at the diner in May? So we're trying to solve for May. So let's draw out June. And let's draw it nice and long so we have something to work with here. Not like crazy long, but just long enough. And this whole thing for June, what's the value for June? 2,400. Now, that is 4 times as much as May. June is 4 times as much as May. So which is the smaller month? June is 4 times as much as May. May is the smaller month. Okay, so don't just take those numbers and multiply them. You got to think it through and draw something out to make sense of it. So May is actually, I'm going to draw this line to align with that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. May is 1/4 of June, right? We see that? If I take May and multiply it by 4, I'll have June. If I take June and divide it by 4, I'll have May. And so that's exactly what we're talking about here. We're going to say that M for May is the 2,400 from June divided by 4. Now, it's not very useful to think of this as 2,400 because I have 2,400. I'm going to divide. But if I think of it as 2,400s, that's much more useful. Putting it into unit form there. And I tell you, even if you know the answer or think you know the answer already, puzzling this out is going to be eminently useful to you down the line. And that's twice I've used that big word, eminently. Look it up. It's a good one. Your eminence. 2,400s divided by 4. Well, think about it. If I'm handing out 2,400s to 4 people, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. They each got 6 what? 600s. So doing it out in unit form really helps you see what we're doing here. Otherwise, very common error is to be off by a place value. So what we're saying there is that 2,400 divided by 4 here in standard form, 600s is 600. And somebody says, hey, that's not right, that's not fair. Look, 600, 1,200, 1,800, 2,400. That's 2,400. That's what we started with. So now our statement is how many dollars worth of French fries were sold at the diner in May. So in May, how many dollars worth? $600 worth. Of French fries were sold. Oh, that's the passive voice. I could have said the diner sold. Okay, in May, $600 worth of French fries were sold. Look at that. You've done it. You've done it. Yes, look what you've done. You've completed another homework time, so I will catch you next time. It is once again homework time.